So you need
this block was not existing. So you are the last match of the previous group. You are and their classmates and their problem.
so good morning. Where is the others? They are not interested?
On the way up.
On the way.
On the way.
Who is the leader here, female? You? Sorry? Oh, okay. I was new block. Did you see the schedule?
Yes.
What do you think about it? Thank you.
It's very interesting.
Oh, thank you.
Very interesting.
I like how
Dr. Sabri has a lot of input in this block, to be honest. He is familiar with all lectures, all blocks in College of Medicine, better than me. I'm sure he introduced a lot of topics. So it's a transit from theory into practice, before you go to this.
And most of the previous blocks were organ system based blocks. Cardiovascular, respiratory, gastrointestinal. This is not a organ system based block. We have tried to design it to address multi-system disorders around some themes, around some age themes. For example, the first week will focus on child health and maternal health and effects of health on the society. Then we will have a week about mostly about the problems or diseases associated with adolescence and autoimmunity, because autoimmunity is a problem in adolescent periods. We have had autoimmune diseases in many blocks, especially MSI, for example. But here we will have a different approach. We will maybe have to repeat some of those concepts. Then we will have a big part in infectious diseases. Again, you had infectious diseases in many blocks. You have touched infectious diseases in different blocks, infectious disorders in many blocks. But again, you will have a more holistic approach in this block. And finally, in the last part, we have tried to address some issues regarding to the elderly, geriatrics. So we have child health, adolescence, geriatrics, the main themes around major age groups, and multi-system disorders. So it will be encompassing different age groups and different systems all in one. And as I told you, many of these topics will be a repetition of some of those concepts. There will be new lectures, new just new concepts that you will see, for example, travel medicine, travel health is a new topic. It has not been addressed before. Yeah.
Now, since this is the first time we run the talk, I expect feedback from you regardless. I mean, you don't have to mention your name if you want to really mention your name. But let me know, I mean, your feedback is very important. Actually. And I'm sure you're lucky to have this talk now because you don't have much lecture in the talk, about 28 lectures. As those are 5 weeks ago, 3 credit hours, we should have at least 35, 40 lectures. But we have 5 LGE and 3 APA. Right? So again, ensure that questions in the final will include whatever information you will learn from LGE and from PBL.
One new activity we are introducing in this block is PBL wrap-up sessions. Maybe you have noticed PBL wrap-up sessions. You are having PBL in maybe 30 different groups. So the learning objectives achieved in those groups may differ from each other. So one group achieving certain number of objectives or certain objectives, the other groups may not. So to unify all these, to standardize all of these, if there's any questions regarding the learning objectives, we're introducing a PBL wrap-up sessions after 2 sessions of PBL. So we will come together with the TAs, and I will also try to attend and see what has been achieved. Are there any gaps regarding the learning objectives which are supposed to be touched during your sessions, not achieved? Also, it will be an opportunity to give us feedback from your side, not only from you but the other activities. And also, if you feel that some concepts have not been addressed properly in PBL, for example, and you want them to be addressed in the form of a lecture or in some explanation to be given, you might some people to give lectures or mini lectures during those wrap-up sessions so that your learning gaps can be covered during those sessions.
You get the point? I mean, your feedback regarding the wrap-up session is important because for the first time, we have these type of lectures. Now, if we feel that there is a benefit out of it, we may apply it to the other blocks. So we'll have the other. If we feel that it's not worth it, we don't have anything out of it different than the other groups. Okay, I'm doing that. So again, wrap-up session is a new for this block to see how it goes. Now, some of the lecture may not necessarily reflect the theme of the week. Sometimes it's difficult. So if you have lectures not fit with the theme of the week, don't worry. I mean, you cannot help us. You know what I mean? Like in POD, I remember. I mean, sometimes we cannot ensure that pharmacology lecture goes with the micro, pathology goes with the emergent so. So you may have the theme of the week, but you may have different lectures during this week. Not reflect the theme of the week. So don't worry about this. And I consider this understanding, you're lucky for this block because we have only 28 lectures. I think since it's a 5 weeks ago, 3 credit hours, we should have almost 35, 40 lectures. So this is a number of lectures this semester, but it's actually not very much. But we replace those 5 PhD and 3 PBL. And the cases is really nice cases. We get to learn about it. And we're trying to ensure that we shift from theory into practice before we go to the hospital.
We have to try to avoid giving lectures on the PBL topics. So the PBL content may not be reflected in the lectures. So you'll have to study PBL separately from lectures. You may not find the topics covered in PBL, it's trying to be covered in PBL in the lectures. You understand what I mean? So in most cases, PBL and lecture topics will not are not the same. They complement each other, but they are not the same. They do not overlap in many cases. So you should be careful in taking the learning objectives and studying for those learning objectives for people. And that is why PBL wrap-up sessions is very important.
Okay. No? Any questions? Yes, go ahead. Personally, I cannot hear you.
Louder.
Okay, regarding the BBL economic session, the BBL wrap session on Sunday.
The wrap session on Sunday.
Wrap-up session, yes.
Yeah. What you want to say about it?
Sorry?
What were you saying about it? She's saying, what were you saying about the PBL wrap sessions?
PBL wrap-up session, they will be done after 2 PBL sessions are done. Okay? After you finish PBL, for example, your first PBL will be today, second PBL will be on Thursday, and the PBL wrap-up session will be on Sunday for that PBL case. Okay? So you will have the opportunity to discuss the learning objectives, what has been discussed, what has been achieved. We will come and tell you which PBL objectives were supposed to be covered during your discussion in PBL. And before that session, let us know if you have any difficulty in understanding any concepts, especially during those PBL sessions and during which are not covered with lectures, that you want to be explained in more detail. Is that clear enough?
Yes.
We looked at the schedule and the topics seem really interesting, but I realized that it's not that much unusual. As in, there's so many lectures after the break. I understand it's not unusual because of taking break. But is it possible that we get the lecture slides before the break starts so we can study like go?
No. It is an ongoing block. We cannot stop you for break and then, no, it is not possible. Because we have more than 1 week after the break.
Well, we will be having online finals.
No, it is, so after the break, you mean you want all the lectures to be finished before break. It is not possible.
No, just give us the slides, only the PPT slides, so that we can study like at home.
Sorry?
The doctors can deliver the lectures like according to the schedule. We're just asking for the materials for the study lectures.
Yeah, just for the
Materials?
Yeah, like the slides.
Materials, I don't know whether they can supply it or not. But, we'll ask them
You
if
cannot
they
guarantee if you supply it.
They may not be able to.
And if I come to teach you, I don't have PowerPoints to start
Yeah.
with.
Some of them may not have PowerPoints.
Yeah.
So just take notes during the lectures.
Did I give you POD?
Yes.
You know how
I never prepared PowerPoints in my life. I don't know even how to prepare it. So sometimes it's difficult. If the other can supply it, then it's fine. I'm not sure. Do you like PowerPoints? Is it?
I doubt they will be able to supply before the lectures. They may not be.
I'll go.
Is it possible that we
possible one?
If it's possible to get the slides ahead of time, then we
If-
really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Especially
if
for now.
possible.
We can prepare it.
If they provide, okay,
It may not be possible,
yeah, yeah.
but you can study those topics from the textbooks. The topics are well known, so.
Some staff actually have difficulty to receive even questions from people. And they are not easy to read because most of the members who will teach you is from outside. So you may have difficulty in getting the questions of people. And if they don't provide questions, I will make up the questions.
If you want to study, for example, some of the topics after the break, fluid and electrolyte management, you can find in many textbooks. Hematological manifestation of systemic disease, easy. Multi-organ dysfunction, you can find many sources. Opportunities to take infections. There are many sources that we can study these from.
Doctor, can we get any textbook recommendations that we can refer that?
Textbook recommendation, we can provide some, yes. From textbooks.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Doctor, since this is a new blog and it's supposed to like bridge us from theory to clinical practice, how do you think we as students should approach it compared to the other system advice blogs?
How do you think about it?
How do you think we should approach in studying or preparing for this blog different from the other blog systems, even when they're
Well, it is, studying should be basically the same, not necessarily studying style.
No, because like this is supposed to like bridge our theory to clinical practice, right? So is there anything that should be different?
Not necessarily, not really. But as you see the lectures, maybe you can try to learn deeper some topics and you may try to understand.
So it's a multi-system block, so. So,
Yeah.
Regarding the exam, what percentages of each component of the exam? For example, MCQs, is it going to be a 65% MCQs?
Is this 5% PDL? I think 15 or 20%, I'm not sure about the
15 or
MCQ.
20 CQs.
And the rest is MCQ.
No, also.
No, we don't have labs.
I mean,
You seem to be happy not having lost me, huh?
what is the difference between Muslim and CQs? And I cannot see any difference.
Extra credit.
Even I'm talking about my computer. Even if I give you a question Muslim, I complete it as an MCQs.
Yeah.
But there's no difference really. I mean, you expect, for example, if we're going to address some parasitic infection, for example, causing systemic diseases, we may show you some slides or pictures and tell you what is that. That's it.
Of course, we all have MCQs or SAQs with some pictures
Yeah.
from microbiology or other topics.
Pathology,
It's not,
for example.
it's not OSCE, it's MCQ or SAQ.
Well, even the pathology questions usually
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
So it's not really much difference.
OSCE should be a hands-on practice. So, in year 4 you will have real OSCEs.
Yeah,
If you are in OSCEs in clinical skills courses.
Okay. Hopefully, inshallah, attendance will be much better. And I know you are almost, as I understand from Muntasir, 180 or something. Okay. Where are they? The rest sleeping?
How many are you supposed to be as the female group?
100.
180.
So, and I asked Muntasir to come to take attendance. But then I said, well, usually I don't take attendance. goes with the introduction. And I can make a question from the introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. And I remember in KSU, I gave MCQs on the score of football match. You know, Hilal was playing in us 2 years ago. That's in the KSU, not here. So one of the MCQ questions, what is the score between the Hilal and us? So 2-0, 1-2.
Maybe it's a bonus.
No, it's not bonus, it's the true questions. We don't have bonus. So from the introduction, we may have but we showed that, I mean, Dr. Sabri had a lot of input action for them. He's familiar with all lectures going on in different productions. But we're trying much to transfer what you learn, what knowledge you have into practice before you go to the hospital. Okay? And I always say you have to reflect the local information based on what we have in Saudi Arabia, not different than what is in the textbook. And the example usually, I was telling the male students that for brucellosis, if you remember, if you see a textbook in brucellosis, the theater or titer to diagnose brucellosis is 1/250, 400. In the Kindle, no, you cannot apply this criteria. It should be 1/1500. So we need to ensure that when you're going to practice, you apply what is going on in the Saudi Arabia. For example, you may have information about hepatitis, hepatitis A, B, C, and so on. But I don't know, if you get needle stick injury in hospital with someone with hepatitis or HIV or whatever, you know what you should do? You did that?
Wash hands.
Huh?
In the pro.
Oh, you took them below? That very good. Anyway, I mean, so is a new blog, and I need really feedback, regardless you will try to name or not, regardless you want to come to the office, see me or the principal, whatever you have in relation to the lectures, what benefit you get, what disadvantage you have from it, and we can modify in the future. So your feedback is important as a new blog. Okay? Any questions? Huh?
Not booklet.
Yes.
We want to put it on the
But, okay? And we'll see you, inshallah.
Okay, good luck.
Tomorrow we have, please try to ask your friends to attend, because it's not good for someone who, I mean, he left his clinics and come to teach you or to give you information and see that few numbers.
Most of the lectures are from the hospital.
Yeah, most of
There
them
are
from
only few
outside.
lecturers from the university. Most of them are coming from professors. So be respectful.
Yeah, they have to show that you attend. If someone from the university, you don't have to attend. Because
They also have to attend.
they always complain that Doctor, we came and they only few
Yeah.
students attend. So please ensure that you attend.
Thank you.